The small dark stain beneath the bed in cabin 312 would have gone unnoticed if not for the steward's flashlight catching it at just the right angle. Rust-colored, dried, deliberate. The room stood in perfect order. Bed made with hospital corners, toiletries arranged with geometric precision, curtains drawn to frame the endless ocean. Too perfect, as if someone had methodically erased every trace of human presence except for that single crimson testament. The ship's security team exchanged glances, their breathing shallow. No one spoke because no one needed to. They all recognized what blood looked like when someone had tried desperately to clean it away. The Elysian Odyssey wasn't just a cruise ship. It was a floating city of glass and steel where 3,000 passengers drifted through international waters beyond the reach of conventional law. A labyrinth of corridors where strangers passed like ghosts, where cameras couldn't capture every corner, where staff were trained to maintain the illusion of paradise at all costs. The perfect place to disappear, the perfect place to make someone disappear. 12 decks, 17 bars, 5 swimming pools, and 1 cabin that would become infamous. I've investigated homicides for 15 years, but something about stepping onto that ship made my skin crawl. Maybe it was the way sound carried strangely across the water. Maybe it was how the floor subtly shifted beneath my feet, reminding me this wasn't solid ground. The cruise director met me with a plastic smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We've secured the area, Detective Cortez." I nodded, thumbing through the preliminary report. 26-year-old bride. Honeymooning. Last seen entering her cabin 5 nights ago. Husband reporting her missing 36 hours later. Blood confirmed as hers. "Who cleaned the room?" I asked. Her smile faltered. "That's the thing. No one did." Some cabins hold more than memories. They hold secrets that pulse beneath the floorboards like a second heartbeat. Isla Harrow boarded the Elysian Odyssey wearing a diamond ring and carrying dreams of forever. She never disembarked. What happened to her isn't just a mystery. It's a warning about how completely a person can vanish when trapped between endless ocean and the one person they trusted most. Have you ever ignored warning signs in someone close to you? Those moments where something felt wrong, but you convinced yourself to look away? Drop a comment below about the red flags you've encountered. Your insight might help someone else recognize what Isla couldn't see until it was too late. We all wear blinders when it comes to those we love. What happens behind locked doors when you're surrounded by nothing but ocean? When your screams would be swallowed by engine noise and crashing waves? When the witnesses are strangers who'll disembark and scatter across continents? The Elysian Odyssey kept moving, port to port, country to country, as Isla's blood dried in cabin 312. The ship never stops. The investigation never ends. And as I followed the trail of a disappeared bride, I discovered something worse than murder. The perfect plan that almost worked. Almost. Isla Matthews grew up on steady doses of romance novels and her parents' 40-year marriage. The youngest of 3 daughters from a Connecticut suburb, she collected vintage wedding magazines and believed in soulmates with the certainty of someone who'd never been truly hurt. A kindergarten teacher with a soft voice and softer heart, she volunteered weekends at animal shelters and kept in touch with college roommates. Friends described her as trusting to a fault, the kind of woman who apologized when others bumped into her. Her dating history, 3 relationships, each ending when she discovered they weren't who they claimed to be. Nathaniel Harrow commanded every room he entered, 6 feet tall with a laugh that made strangers turn and smile. A self-made entrepreneur with carefully cultivated stubble and tailored shirts, he collected people like trophies. His charisma masked a pattern, monitoring Isla's phone, questioning her male friendships, surprising her at work. He praised her publicly, criticized privately. His compliments always carried conditions. "You look beautiful when you try." His jealousy presented as protection. "I worry because I care so much." They met at a charity auction in April, engaged by June, married by September, a timeline that left Isla's family exchanging worried glances. Their wedding photos show Isla glowing, while Nate's smile never reached his eyes. They chose the Elysian Odyssey's Caribbean route for their honeymoon, a 14-day escape to 7 islands. Isla packed sundresses and swimsuits, sunblock and sandals. Nate packed 3 suits and insisted they upgrade to the luxury cabin 312 with its private balcony. "Nothing but the best for my bride," he said, handing over his platinum card while holding her wrist just tight enough to leave a mark. Marissa Vale stood beside Isla in every milestone photo since childhood. Same height, opposite coloring, complementary in ways that drew attention to both. As maid of honor, she delivered a toast that focused strangely more on Nate's qualities than Isla's happiness. She booked cabin 310 on the same cruise, to help if needed. Her presence meant shared meals, excursions, evening drinks. 3 became the pattern. When Isla mentioned wanting alone time with Nate, Marissa's eyes flashed before her mouth formed understanding words. The friendship shifted in ways Isla couldn't name. The first days aboard the Elysian Odyssey dazzled with azure waters and white sand beaches. Isla collected seashells at each port, while Nate networked with executives also vacationing aboard. Photographs show Isla's smile growing tighter as days passed. Security footage captured fragments. Isla alone at the railing, watching waves. Nate and Marissa in animated conversation by the pool bar, falling silent when Isla approached. At dinner, Isla pushed food around her plate, while Nate ordered for all 3. The waiter later recalled how Isla flinched when Nate reached for her hand. Text messages recovered from Isla's phone revealed a pattern of manipulation. "Where are you?" Sent 15 times in 1 hour. "Who were you talking to?" "That dress attracts too much attention." A video on Isla's phone showed Nate throwing her suitcase contents across their bedroom when she packed the wrong shoes for their engagement party. Her sister reported Isla canceling 5 gatherings after Nate claimed sudden migraines. The cruise was his idea after Isla mentioned visiting her college roommate in California. 3,000 passengers created perfect anonymity. International waters meant no jurisdiction. Cell service disappeared beyond certain points. The constant engine hum swallowed sounds. Windowless interior corridors provided no reference point. Isla's world narrowed to square footage she shared with Nate, her movements tracked by his constant questions. Every corridor led back to him. Every stranger represented escape she couldn't articulate. The horizon visible but unreachable. When love blinds you to warning signs, what else does it invite into your life? Isla stepped onto that ship believing in forever with a man she'd known for 5 months. As the coastline disappeared behind them, so did her support system, her independence, her voice. What remained was a woman alone with 2 people who watched her every move. Ask yourself, would you recognize the cage before the door locked behind you? The grand ballroom transformed for the masquerade gala on night 5 of the cruise. Crystal chandeliers dimmed, string quartet playing in the corner, waiters gliding between guests with champagne flutes. Everyone wore masks, some elaborate with feathers and gems, others simple and haunting. Isla chose a delicate silver design that framed her eyes while hiding her tears. Security footage shows her standing alone near the double doors, watching couples spin across marble floors. The mask created perfect anonymity, blurring identities, allowing secrets to pass from mouth to ear without consequence. A night designed for hidden truths, where what you appear to be matters more than who you are. 3 passengers later reported similar observations. Nate and Marissa disappearing together for 20-minute intervals throughout the evening. A bartender noticed them huddled in conversation, Marissa's hand lingering on Nate's forearm, fingers tracing circles on his skin. When Isla approached, they separated with practiced ease. Cabin attendant Miguel Santos witnessed them exiting a storage closet near the engine room, Marissa adjusting her dress while Nate checked his watch. Every interaction occurred just beyond Isla's field of vision, a choreographed dance of near misses designed to maintain plausible deniability. Isla's phone records reveal 7 attempts to call her sister that night, all disconnected due to poor signal. Her final journal entry, recovered later, shows handwriting that deteriorated across the page. "Something's wrong. I keep catching fragments of conversations that stop when I enter rooms." Marissa avoids eye contact. "Nate's wedding ring disappeared yesterday. Claimed he removed it for swimming, but I found it in his jacket pocket wrapped in tissue paper. When I mentioned going home early, he became cold, calculating. I don't recognize him anymore." At 11:43 p.m., security cameras captured Isla approaching Nate and Marissa on the starboard deck. 3 witnesses overheard fragments. How long has this been happening? And you promised me, and I trusted you both. Nate grabbed her wrist when she tried to walk away. Marissa stepped between them, her back to the camera, words inaudible. Isla collapsed against the railing, shoulders shaking. A passing waiter described her as completely shattered, crying so hard she couldn't breathe. Nate and Marissa escorted her inside, one on each arm, their masks removed, but expressions hidden from camera view. The key card system recorded Isla entering cabin 312 at 12:17 a.m. The steward delivering turned-down chocolates was the last crew member to see her, pale, mascara-streaked, refusing entry to the room. "I just need to be alone," she told him. He noted her hands trembling as she closed the door. The cabin's Do Not Disturb indicator activated electronically at 12:22 a.m. and remained on for the next 36 hours. No room service orders, no outgoing calls, no electronic purchases, no movement detected in corridors, as if Isla simply ceased to exist within those walls. The Elysian Odyssey boasted comprehensive surveillance in marketing materials, but reality proved different. Camera blind spots existed throughout the vessel, including a 40-foot corridor leading to cabin 312. The timeline revealed troubling gaps. 12:17 a.m. Isla enters cabin 134. Nate appears in casino, plays blackjack for 2 hours, 1:42 a.m. Marissa orders drinks at Poseidon's Lounge, 3:45 a.m. Nate returns to corridor, but camera loses him before reaching room 4. 12 a.m. Cabin door. Electronic log shows opening, closing 7:30 a.m. Nate appears at breakfast buffet, alone 9:45 a.m. Cleaning staff, bypass room due to privacy indicator. The most disturbing detail, between 2 and 4 a.m., all corridor cameras experience technical malfunction. Nate reported Isla missing at 2:15 p.m. the following day, claiming she must have gone exploring and probably lost track of time. The initial response followed protocol, announcements over the PA system, staff checking public areas, passenger volunteers forming search parties. Publicly, the cruise director assured everyone this was routine procedure. Privately, security staff implemented Code Victor, their designation for possible passenger overboard. Divers checked the hull. Kitchen staff inspected freezers. Maintenance examined ventilation systems. The calm voices on intercoms contrasted with the frantic radio chatter between decks. Nate's statement described an argument, followed by reconciliation. "She was fine when I left to get some air. Said she wanted to sleep it off." His affect struck investigators as oddly flat. No trembling hands, no voice breaks. Marissa claimed she spent the night in her own cabin. Isla was emotional about the wedding bills. She gets like that sometimes. Both described Isla as prone to overreaction and possibly drinking too much. Both suggested she might have jumped overboard despite no evidence supporting this theory. Both offered identical phrases in separate interviews. "She wasn't herself lately." Have you ever realized someone close to you wasn't who they pretended to be? That moment when patterns suddenly become clear? Comment below about your experience with betrayal, the warning signs you noticed too late. Your story might help others recognize manipulation before it escalates. Like Isla, we all want to believe those we love are incapable of harm. And what the cameras missed was everything. The voices through adjoining walls that woke passengers in nearby cabins. The male figure that housekeeping glimpsed carrying something wrapped in sheets toward crew-only areas at 4:30 a.m. The mysterious fluid that pooled beneath the bathroom door, only to disappear before investigators arrived. And most importantly, what happened during those critical missing hours when cabin 312 held secrets only its walls could tell. Rafael Cortez carried 15 years of homicide investigation experience when he boarded the Elysian Odyssey. A former Navy man with knowledge of maritime operations, he specialized in cases where evidence disappeared by design. His methodology combined old-school observation with psychological profiling. "Water doesn't hide crimes. People do," he often said. His first act upon boarding wasn't examining cabin 312, but observing Nate's reactions when discussing his wife. The slight smile, the dry eyes, the tells. The night steward remembered delivering ice at 11:30 p.m., describing Isla as shaken but composed. Yet the bartender recalled serving her at 11:40 p.m., an impossible timeline. Security officer James Chen mentioned seeing Marissa exit cabin 312 at 2:15 a.m., though she claimed to be in her own room all night. The cabin attendant noted that when she knocked the next morning, a male voice answered, "We don't need service," though Nate insisted he'd left hours earlier. Small fragments of truth scattered across contradicting statements, revealing coordination among storytellers. Court has found Isla's journal tucked inside the Bible in the nightstand drawer, an intentional hiding place. Most entries appeared innocuous, detailing excursions and meals. But examining the pages under ultraviolet light revealed a second journal written in lemon juice between the lines. An old childhood code she shared with her sister. M watches me when N isn't looking. Their whispers stop when I enter rooms. Cabin 312 feels wrong. Items moved when I return. My shampoo smells different. My pills look different. I'm so tired all the time. If I don't come back, tell them to check the balcony camera. Tell them to check under the bed. The final entry, written hours before her disappearance, they think I don't know. The forensic team identified blood traces despite aggressive cleaning. The pattern suggested arterial spray, inconsistent with accidental injury. Luminol revealed blood residue extending from bedside to bathroom and drag marks. Microscopic examination of the drain captured skin cells despite bleach treatment. Most damning was the discovery of a single fingerprint in blood beneath the mattress frame, Marissa's left index finger. Hair samples from the shower drain contained traces of sedatives not prescribed to Isla. DNA analysis confirmed 3 individuals present during the blood event: Isla, Nate, and an unknown female contributor matching Marissa's profile. The ship's original blueprints revealed something crucial. Cabin 312 had been renovated, reducing its square footage by approximately 12 inches along one wall. Cortez discovered a false panel in the wardrobe, a maintenance access point sealed off during renovation, but reopened recently. Inside, a bag containing Isla's nightgown, with throat area saturated in blood, a used syringe, and a handwritten note in Isla's writing: "If you find this, I didn't jump. Check his phone. Password M&N forever." The space connected to a utility corridor leading directly to the waste disposal chutes, large enough to transport a body off the ship. Cortez assembled a psychological profile based on witness statements and Nate's behavior. The pattern matched classic narcissistic personality disorder with sociopathic tendencies, superficial charm masking calculated manipulation. Previous relationships revealed similar control patterns, isolating partners from support networks, gaslighting to create self-doubt, financial control disguised as generosity. His business records showed 3 former partners who mysteriously abandoned investments just before significant payouts. His phone contained research on international waters jurisdiction and drug interactions. Most revealing was his calmness during questioning, the emotional disconnection suggesting complete absence of genuine grief. Passengers in adjacent cabins reported disturbing sounds between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Margaret Doyle in cabin 314 heard a thump like something heavy falling, then muffled crying that stopped suddenly. James and Catherine Brennan in cabin 316 described a man and woman arguing in hushed tones, then water running for over an hour. Most disturbing was elderly passenger Edward Fishman's account. "Someone dragged something heavy past my door around 4 a.m. I looked through the peephole and saw a man and woman with what looked like a rolled carpet. I thought they were staff moving furniture until I saw blood dripping on the floor." The investigation exposed critical failures in maritime law enforcement. With the crime scene spanning multiple jurisdictions, departing from Miami, passing through Bahamian waters during the critical hours, legal responsibility became deliberately blurred. Cruise company policy prioritized reputation over transparency, delaying crime reporting by crucial hours. Security cameras operated on a 72-hour loop, automatically erasing evidence unless specifically preserved. Staff lacked proper training for evidence preservation. Most concerning, the company's standard procedure involved immediate deep cleaning of cabins upon any incident report, effectively destroying crime scenes before authorities arrived. Would you recognize the warning signs of psychological manipulation? The subtle control tactics that isolate victims from help? Comment below about manipulation tactics you've witnessed or experienced. Your awareness might save someone caught in an escalating pattern like Isla's. Remember, predators choose victims who doubt their own perceptions. When crimes occur between nations, justice falls through cracks by design. Did Nate and Marissa select the cruise specifically for this legal gray area? Did they count on international waters becoming the perfect accomplice? FBI agents arrested Nate Harrow at Miami International Airport as he attempted to board a flight to a non-extradition country. Camera flashes illuminated his expressionless face while reporters shouted questions. The case exploded across headlines. Honeymoon horror, bride vanishes at sea, blood-soaked love triangle. Court TV broadcast every hearing. True crime podcasts dissected each detail. Social media erupted with theories and hashtags. The public devoured updates like entertainment, forgetting a real woman had vanished, that real blood had dried in that cabin. Isla's tragedy became content, her life condensed to clickbait. Isla's mother collapsed on the witness stand describing how her daughter changed after meeting Nate. She stopped calling, canceled visits, always checking her phone when we spoke. College friends testified about concerning text messages. Can't talk now, he's checking my phone. Her sister revealed finding bruises during a beach trip, which Isla dismissed as bumping into a door. Their collective testimony painted a portrait of systematic isolation, a woman slowly disappearing long before she physically vanished as relationships withered under Nate's control. Dr. Eleanor Matthews, expert on intimate partner violence, explained to the jury how abuse escalates in predictable patterns. Isolation occurs first, cutting victims off from support networks. Then financial control, often disguised as generosity. Emotional manipulation follows, making victims question their perception of reality. The honeymoon cruise represented perfect conditions for escalation: isolation at sea, no escape routes, limited communication, surrounded by strangers who wouldn't recognize warning signs. She detailed how abusers select witnesses who validate their version of events, explaining Marissa's role as both enabler and audience for Nate's performance of grief. Marissa Vale occupied the most complex position in the case, somewhere between victim and perpetrator. Evidence showed years of manipulation by Nate, crafting her into the perfect accomplice. Text messages revealed his psychological tactics. Isla doesn't appreciate me like you do, and she doesn't deserve someone like me. Financial records showed his company secretly employing Marissa, creating dependency. Yet forensic evidence placed her hands on murder weapons, her voice coaching lies. The prosecution labeled her a willing participant. The defense portrayed her as another of Nate's victims. Her testimony against Nate secured her immunity deal, leaving unanswered questions about justice. After 17 days of testimony and 38 hours of deliberation, the jury returned their verdict. Nathaniel Harrow, guilty of second-degree murder, not the first-degree charge prosecutors sought. Legal experts pointed to the ocean loophole. Without recovering Isla's body, proving premeditation became nearly impossible. Maritime jurisdiction complications further weakened the case. The judge sentenced Nate to 25 years with possibility of parole after 15, far less than the life sentence recommended. As bailiffs led him away, witnesses described his whispered words to Marissa in the gallery. "I'll be back." Detective Cortez called the verdict a compromise, not justice. Oceanic Horizons cruises faced immediate backlash, stock plummeting 43% following the verdict. Passenger bookings dropped by half. Class action lawsuits emerged from families of other passengers who had mysteriously vanished on previous voyages. Internal documents leaked revealing company policy prioritizing reputation management over passenger safety. Their emergency protocols focused on containing information rather than preserving evidence. 6 executives resigned. Congressional hearings followed, with lawmakers questioning industry-wide security standards. The Elysian Odyssey, once their flagship vessel, was quietly renamed and reassigned to Mediterranean routes. Despite renovations, new carpet, fresh paint, reconfigured layout, Cabin 312 developed a reputation passengers couldn't ignore. Multiple guests reported unexplained occurrences, Electronics failing, water running spontaneously, knocking from inside walls. 4 different couples abandoned the room mid-voyage after experiencing suffocating nightmares and feelings of being watched. Crew members refused assignments there, claiming cold spots and whispers. Maintenance logs documented inexplicable technical malfunctions isolated to that room. Eventually, the company converted the space to storage, listed as unavailable on booking systems. But passengers still photographed the door, sharing stories of a bride who never left. The case catalyzed significant cruise industry reforms. Mandatory 24/7 surveillance coverage without blind spots, emergency satellite phones in all cabins, heightened security screening, GPS tracking bracelets as passenger options, and structured crime scene protocols. Congress passed the Isla's Law, requiring immediate reporting of suspicious incidents regardless of vessel location. Yet experts question whether these changes truly protect passengers or merely create illusion of safety. The fundamental problem remains. When you're miles from shore, help is always hours away, and evidence can disappear overboard in seconds. Did Isla Harrow receive justice, or did her case simply generate headlines before fading into the archive of tragic brides? Her body never recovered, her killer potentially walking free within 15 years. Her best friend living under a new identity with immunity. The truth about her final moments sealed in a plea deal. Perhaps Isla's real legacy isn't the verdict, but the questions her case forces us to confront about how easily vulnerable people vanish when systems value profit over protection. What would real justice for Isla look like? Share your thoughts below. Is it about punishment, prevention, or something deeper? Your perspective matters more than you know. 5 years after the verdict, Rafael Cortez keeps a worn case file in his desk drawer. The official investigation closed, but his personal quest continues. Every anniversary of Isla's disappearance, he returns to the port where the Elysian Odyssey once docked, watching other cruise ships depart. His retirement papers remain unsigned. His walls display photos of similar cases, other disappeared passengers, other perfect crimes committed at sea. He visits Isla's grave marker, empty beneath the stone, leaving fresh flowers beside a laminated photo of cabin 312. Some cases don't end, he tells new detectives. They wait. The passengers who testified still attend therapy. James Brennan developed insomnia that medication can't cure. Margaret Doyle refuses to travel by water. The night steward quit the industry entirely. Isla's mother transformed her daughter's bedroom into a memorial, frozen in time with wedding photos and cruise brochures. She writes letters to Isla every week, storing them in shoeboxes labeled by year. When interviewed, she stares through reporters as if seeing something or someone beyond them. "I feel her," she whispers, "not gone, just waiting for someone to listen." Though cabin 312 officially remains storage space, maintenance workers report unexplained phenomena. 3 different night guards documented a woman's silhouette on the balcony during storm nights, visible only from certain angles, dissolving when approached. Electronics malfunctioned precisely at 4:12 a.m., the time Isla's cabin door registered its final opening. Water inexplicably pools beneath the bathroom door on the anniversary of her disappearance. Most compelling, 17 different crew members have independently reported the same experience, waking to a woman's voice whispering, "They think I don't know." The current captain enforces a policy. No one enters alone, no one stays after dark. Oceanic Horizons rebranded completely. New name, new logo, new marketing promising security at every turn. Their brochures highlight safety features inspired by the case while never mentioning Isla directly. Yet passenger forums overflow with stories, warnings, unofficial cabin maps marking 312 with warning symbols. Travel agents report couples specifically requesting "not that ship" or "anywhere but there." Industry data shows a phenomenon dubbed the Harrow effect, dramatically lower bookings for honeymoon cruises in the Caribbean. Competing companies quietly distance themselves from routes resembling the Elysian Odyssey's final voyage. Cabin 312 transcended its physical space to become cultural shorthand for betrayal cloaked in luxury. True crime documentaries use its floor plan as their logo. Psychological thrillers reference it in dialogue. Maritime safety instructors use the case in training. For Isla's family, it represents the ultimate perversion of sacred promises. Vows spoken, then weaponized. For cruise passengers, it symbolizes the vulnerability of trust. For Detective Cortez, it remains a puzzle box of justice denied. For Nate, serving his sentence in minimum security, it represents only a temporary interruption. His release date marked on a hidden calendar. This story isn't finished. Subscribe to True Crime Scene Insider for our continuing investigation into Isla's case and others where justice waits beyond headlines. Hit that notification bell to join our community seeking truth in the shadows where most fear to look. Your comments help us shine light where darkness hides. Some honeymoons never end. They just echo forever. Every wave that hits every ship's hull could carry Isla's final truth. Every bride who boards with hope could hear her warning. And somewhere between justice and memory, between evidence and shadows, Cabin 312 keeps its vigil, a monument to what happens when we look away from warning signs until it's too late.